You got held back, didn't you, Kenny? Twice, I think. Did you get funny? No, I think it's very sad, actually. I only mention it because that would make you over 18, which means that if you were to beat me up, which I'm sure you could, it would technically be child abuse. I'm prepping for this trip on the weekend, too.
Oh, yeah, is that the monastery trip?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I just went hiking.
Oh, yeah.
The lifting and then went hiking. I was pretty exhausted.
Yeah, so Death Note was a terrible freaking movie.
I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot.
How could you possibly enjoy that?
It was well paced. It had a great soundtrack.
Well, okay. Make your case first, so I can tear it to shreds.
Especially considering the anime was terribly paced. But first of all, I'm not even comparing it to the anime at all. It's pretty clear right from the beginning. It's not the same thing. Not even close. It's not even trying to be close. Like, you see Light screaming like a little bitch. It's funny.
Oh my god, that screaming thing was the gayest thing.
It was super gay. That was funny.
And that was funny.
He's not the same guy.
But okay, I have the exact opposite opinion as far as pacing. I thought the anime was very well paced.
No, I mean, the second half it needed like 10 more episodes.
No way, man. It was exactly as long as it should have been. This movie, however, is the pacing is awful. Like,
I didn't notice time passing by while I was watching it.
It's just like too much is happening. Like in 5 minutes, like you have way too much story happening. I think, and you know what? I want someone who hasn't seen the anime to judge the movie.
Well, I watched a couple of reviews from people who haven't seen the anime, and their opinions are pretty positive.
Then they're all wrong. Because okay, here's the thing: the pacing was completely like atrocious. Just way too much was happening, way too fast. You didn't have enough time to have things kind of settle in and to appreciate the situations. Just by the nature of the of the premise, young kid gets a note, gets a death notebook full of rules, and he tries to evade capture by the super intelligent detective. Like just that premise alone, it doesn't lend itself to the kind of fast-paced story they were trying to make in the movie. I can understand the whole like fast cut, a lot of things happening, fast go kind of movie, but for that kind of movie, you need a simpler plot. You need like, oh, they're trying to stop the heist or something very, very simple, very direct like that. But the nature of Death Note is that it's a cat and mouse game, and you cannot flesh that out in its entirety. Okay, here's the second thing. Even if you were to try to make one movie out of this story, and I do appreciate the fact that they were trying to tell kind of a different story with a different set of characters. Even if you were trying to tell this story, you would need a longer runtime, and this was only 1 hour and a half. It should have been like 2.5 hours, if not just do an American trilogy.
I don't think I would.
The Japs did a freaking trilogy
of that movie, dude. I think the
Japs did a trilogy, and they have no budget. It looks awful, like the Japanese live-action Death Note trilogy.
Those movies are. I read the plot synopsis, and it's like this is. Like it's better that like it's made by a foreigner in a foreign country. It's like a foreign interpretation of it than like Japanese doing a version like that. Like that doesn't even look appealing to watch. I don't think I know anybody who watched it, even from like weebs.
Yeah, they were more like summarized like very brief versions of the plot from the manga and I'm sorry, from the manga and the anime. One big difference, obviously, in this American movie is Light. Light Turner in this one.
It should have been a different character, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
that would have given it a few points more.
I could appreciate them going with a different angle, because obviously Light Yagami in the anime, he's hyper ambitious, hyper intelligent, and a big difference is he comes from a loving family that's still loving family is still together. His parents are still together. He has a loving little sister. He's has good
He's
grades.
already
He's
like the
super
top
ambitious.
6 in his class. He's a top tennis champion. He's a boy genius over here.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like it's a model citizen. Where this is like the American angsty teenager. He just sees the world. He's just so mad. He's like, yeah.
And
Why do you think on my way?
like right from the beginning, you could tell he's not as smart as light.
Yeah,
he's kind of a dummy. Part of what I appreciated about it, it's just like this kid's nowhere near as smart as light. It's not. He's nowhere. It's not gonna be. It's like beneath L by the end of the movie.
Oh yeah. I don't. I don't really give a shit that L was black. I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. What I do care is that he was a bad actor.
It did seem really forced. Like the body motions. Like I get that that's the way he is in the anime, but not good. It's a bad.
The second he had his mask off, I'm like, I'm watching my fiance. She looks at it and she's just like, why is he making that weird face?
I liked it better when in the show he has like the criminal who's like sentenced to death do it for him, and then that's how he found out that it made like he just needed
No, but the coffee shop scene or the cafe scene where he's there with light and he has his mask off and he's looking at him and like you can't pinpoint what expression he's trying to make.
It's always like very like sad.
Yeah, like
but he's like MK Ultra, like Montauk Project. So that kind of makes sense. Like he's not emotionally well.
Yeah, they MK Ultra the crap out of that kid.
I like how that's just like oh yeah, he's MK Ultra. Like he's trained to be a super detective. That's it. Like, okay.
Like, okay. I mean, that's alluded to in the anime. It's never explicitly explained.
Yeah, well, that's
you do see.
How I didn't realize.
Yeah, you do see his successors. Nier.
Yeah. I read like most of the manga.
The chocolate guy.
And I watched like the 2 anime movies of Death Note and the show. Did you ever watch the 2 anime like summary movies, like where they the entire plot down into 2 movies?
Well, I rewatched the anime just to prep myself for this movie.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of. I think it's a storytelling device that isn't used enough, which is like the villain protagonist. And the only times I've seen it done well. And that is with Death Note and Breaking Bad. I've never
Code Geass.
Oh well, Code Geass is different. Code Geass, you can make the case that he's not a complete villain.
Yeah, but
I mean he's a villain to the what the hell is it, like the Noodle People Empire? Everyone looks like they're made of pool noodles in that show.
It's just really skinny and tall.
But yeah, I mean. He's more like an anti-hero. And people make comparisons of, back when those 2 shows were out, made a lot of comparisons between Light and Chode Geass. But
yeah, well, they came out at like the same time, that's why.
Yeah, 2008. The Lelouch Lamprey, that was his name, yeah. But man, I do give this new movie the soundtrack.
Yeah, that was good. The whole movie together. This is really like if this movie came out in 1987, it would be fine, and nobody would complain about it because nobody would have seen the anime.
I feel like but look, I feel like they were trying to paper over the flaws of the script by having a killer soundtrack. Like if they just like bombard you with music, you can forget that the movie you're watching is completely fucking incoherent.
I don't know. I had a great time watching it. I don't think there was a moment where I felt like I was bored. And by the end of it, I thought, it was a great experience.
I'm not like the Butter fanboy who came to it expecting a disaster. I was fully expecting to have a great time watching a movie, and I was hyped that they had Willem Dafoe as Ryuk.
He's hardly in the movie, like.
But the times he's there, you can appreciate it. But that was not enough to save the movie. I mean, it's just he's a weak protagonist, this Light Turner.
That's for sure.
The draw of Light Yagami.
Affirmative consent before he kisses the girl. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he's so gay.
It was like, oh shit, man. It is Seattle. makes sense to me.
Yeah, and of course the girl is like 10 times crazier than he is.
Oh, dude, she was so insane. That was like
I thought they were gonna pull like a
crazy.
Lady Macbeth thing where she like goads him into like further evil, but they didn't do that. She just went evil all by herself, and he just kind of stayed like the pussy, being like, "No, we can't."
Yeah, exactly. She had real problems, and he should have never showed her that book, man. But then, just wanted to get laid.
Just want to get laid, man. Hey, let me show it to. Look, I found this death note. I better show it to the nearest girl that gives me attention immediately.
Yo, you know this movie's gonna be popular with 14-year-old goths everywhere for the next 5 years.
There was no reason to have like in the anime, if you touch the death note, you could see the death god attached to it, the Shinigami attached to it. There was no reason to have in the movie the new rule that you have to be the owner to see Ryuk. There was no reason to do that. They could have had them both see Ryuk and have them.
Well, they don't have Shinigami eyes either. They changed a bunch of the rules.
Oh yeah, but they added like a bunch that you can't even like what they like. Oh, in Rule 89 it said blah blah. Like there's not 89 rules. There's like 7, and 2 of them are fake.
Yeah. Oh, and there's like hidden rules.
Yeah, and it's like it's a thing that already is an element of complexity. You can't introduce elements of complexity if you're trying to tell like a simple 1.5 hour fast-paced movie. It has to be a simple story. I'm saying the elements of the story don't lend themselves to like a fast-paced action movie, which this was like half trying to be. So look, I'm gonna need you to recant your position on this item.
I don't think I can. I think the fact that I didn't even notice time passing by made me it was a positive experience.
Okay, many but other things that I didn't like about the movie, besides everything else. He only killed like 400 people.
Yeah, he was no genius, man. That was like the whole story is like he wasn't very smart. He
wasn't very smart. He's kind of a coward.
And he was pretty lazy and unambitious. He was pretty much a typical American high school student.
He was getting mocked by his girlfriend.
Like imagine like the typical American high school student gets a death note. What the hell was he going to use it for? He's very responsible for not just using it to kill like most of his classmates and teachers.
So a school shooting is a school scribbling.
Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna Reddit like who the criminals are. Go down the list. Just go down the list. North Korean generals. Jesus, dude. Who knows what that's creating? That's why all these ballistic missiles getting launched, man.
I did like the like them making the killings like kind of a Final Destination, bizarre like Rube Goldberg machine killings.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the kid drops the basketball and the ladder slips on the car that crashes because of the basketball, and the ladder flies out and chops the kid's head off. Like, oh shit, that was nuts.
It's like, how else was he gonna get decapitated, right? Like, that guy got omened, man. Classic. A lot of like there was a lot more gore than the show too. Pretty interesting choice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The kills were way like Light was just like heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit because he wanted people to know, and he didn't care if he would kill them for like special reasons or special methods if he needed them to achieve some other end. But like, yeah, his standard thing was just to have them all just die by heart attacks because he wanted everyone to know that it was him.
But I don't think in the movie that the default was a heart attack.
No, it wasn't.
Because it was like just decides how to kill him.
I think it was, but he just doesn't always do it. It's just I can't think of a time.
They ever mentioned it, and nobody, I don't think anybody died of a heart attack.
Yeah, and like the whole mythos of the Shinigami is kind of gone here. Like it seems like there's just one Death Note, and Ryuk is just sort of attached to it.
He's like the devil.
Because in the show, there's each Shinigami, each Death God has their own note, and they kill humans and they extend their own lives that way, and they just hang around the Death God realm being bored as hell. And they are creative, so they seek out so Ryuk sought out a human to give a Death Note to just to see what will happen because he's bored and he wants to see some fun stuff happen.
No TV out there in hell.
No TV in hell. And that's another element I think was missing in this movie is that both the kind of like the friendship, or not, I don't want to say friendship, they weren't really friends. I guess they were kind of, Light and Ryuk in the anime, and also between L and Light in the anime, it was like this one-sided friendship. Well, at least L was seeing Light as a friend, and Light just saw him as this enemy he wanted to kill, which is a really bizarre sort of friendship to have, where your best friend is the guy who just wants to kill the crap out of you, and the last thing you see before you die is him smiling down at you that he killed you.
Told you, shouldn't.
But shouldn't have fucking me, nigga. But they didn't. There was no real interpersonal relationships between all those characters in this one.
Yeah, it was mostly just Light, his dad, and his girlfriend.
How about the ending, man?
Oh, I love the ending. That was the best part.
Which part?
The part, like, do you know if he's gonna die or not?
Yeah, that's what bugs me. Like, does L give into it? Does he kill Light? We don't know. We just see him like kind of like settling down with the paper he has, and we don't know if he writes it down. We see L show up at Ryuk show up at the hospital.
What's weird is like his dad just sort of like accepts it. Like, okay, yeah, it's my son. He's the one doing all this. Like, geez, dude. You wouldn't even put the guy who killed your wife in prison, but.
And that's one of the things that happens in the anime is that you don't know. The father doesn't know about his son, and he dies believing his son is not Kira.
Oh man!
Because he was proud of his son. He's not an overachiever, and he's like he joined the task force, and so he's like it sounds like his greatest accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like in the movie, his dad just sort of like, oh, you're Kira. That's yeah, I found out. That's cool.
Yeah.
Tell me how you did it.
Well, I mean, we don't know how he would have like turned him in later or something like that. He just kind of sits there and talks to him in the hospital, and then that's over with.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be very much reacting, though. That's what I mean. It's just,
yeah.
He didn't give a shit.
Like, so you're Kira, huh? It's pretty messed up, kid.
But the one nod to Death Note was in the ending, where he had that whole elaborate plot written down right before.
Yeah, man. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, just the ridiculous, over-elaborate thing to save his own ass.
That was the good stuff.
Yeah, man. That's what them... And that's the draw of the story is like, these elaborate plans. Like this this 3D chess. This 4D chess going on between Light and L. And what the hell was that gun that L had with the glowy thing on it? Like, what the hell was the purpose of this glowy thing?
I don't know. It's like all rich and high tech. So like,
it's just a regular gun. It wasn't like recognizing his fingerprint or anything. It's just a gun
with a nice laser on it. Just because L apparently can't aim very well.
Yeah, because Light picked it up and used it just fine. So like, what the hell was the purpose of this? All like the robot stuff on it and the special case. Like, just get a Glock. Get a freaking cheap high point or something. What the hell was it? I don't understand why.
It's like everything with L. It's like he has all these butlers walking around. Like, well, who pays for this stuff? Where's his money? Is this his own?
Oh, it's all CIA money.
Is this Batman? Like what? Yeah, it's MK Ultra, dude. This is the whole. Like,
it's all CIA drug money.
Is Al ever gonna catch that? His MK Ultra programming doesn't allow him to catch the CIA.
Exactly, just stops, freezes.
You can see that with Nier, total neoliberal. Mello was the right way to go.
Chocolate!
He was going to burn this whole place down. It's like Trump.
Okay.
With the weird hair and everything.
I think something funny that I was talking to my fiance about the female roles in both the anime and this one. Because in this one you have, the character Misa is replaced by Mia Sutton.
I mean, Misa was so annoying.
Oh man, I love Misa. What are you talking about?
Misa was just obnoxious.
Misa was great. She's like this like completely brain dead, freaking like goth pop star who was completely like retardedly loyal to this sociopath, and he's such a sociopath that this girl's falling all over him, just throwing herself at him, and he's not even thinking, oh, I can get laid. He's like, I'm gonna use her until I can, then I'll just kill her. Like he's so sociopathic, he's like asexual at this point.
Oh yeah. The only times he has sex with women is when it's like useful to him. With that like one girl, as far as I can tell.
I doubt they even did it, and it was probably like some weird clinical experience.
That's how it comes off in the show. Like in the one cutaway scene where it seems like something happened. He's putting on a tie and the girl's leaving his apartment.
But like there's a thing obviously in Western media that there's no female character in the past 20 years that hasn't been like, a strong women character. And I don't think American audiences would have been comfortable with the sort of like submissiveness that Misa showed in the anime. I think
probably not.
But
and
that was
believable in an American context anyway.
But they should have done it because of that. Like that would be even more reason to make the audience uncomfortable.
Man, you're talking about Netflix here.
That's true. Freaking Zogflix.
I guess maybe in HBO I would believe it. Like, but no, like that girl is just a typical sort of crazy girl you would find in American high school. Like the craziness is pretty true to life. And I'm just saying, Mia Sutton is like the exact sort of crazy you'll find in American high school.
Yeah.
Sociopathic, all out for herself, hypersexualized.
Yeah, she's just like, it's okay.
I was like, yeah, the moment you give she finds out he can kill people with a book, she starts giving him the like fuck me eyes.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
And immediately sleeps with him. Like, yeah, I believe this.
It's a documentary.
This is exactly how it goes. And she starts like giving him horrible ideas, like we should just kill people that people send us to kill. Like,
he's like, but how do we know if it's real? And she's like, who cares? Look, they told us. That's how we know it's real. They have no one to turn to. It's like, but this could just be like some guy. We have no idea if this is like a legitimate thing. Okay,
trying to rob a house. Like, hey, I asked Kira to like kill the house owners. We can come in and take all the stuff. Nobody knows.
Yeah, and Light Turner is surprisingly too moral to do that.
Either too moral or just a little bit more clever than her.
Yeah, or
that's a great way to get caught.
Yeah, just not retarded crazy enough.
She's smart enough to take calculus, but not very smart to like do calculus in her head.
That calculus reveal was like one of the most like the biggest forced reveal ever.
Yeah,
like, you can do it from my calculus book. He's like, a calculus book. Later on, finds it in the calculus book. Like, that was
breaks into her house. Nobody's there. No, the police didn't go through anything. Like, find out what happened.
If there's no one there, look. If there's no one there, she's crazy enough that she probably just killed her parents just to do it.
Jeez. Yeah, at that point, I believe he killed them.
Like, they mildly annoy her one day, and she kills both their parents. I guarantee you that's what happened.
Yeah, they're right there on the list of names, along with like FBI agents.
They die right after give me back my booty shorts. They wouldn't let me wear.
She was gonna kill his dad, like immediately, no hesitation. Like, oh, he's in my way. I better kill your dad. Like how she uses herself. Like, I don't care that sociopath died. Like, yeah. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, I just keep imagining that movie as like an 80s movie. Just a one-shot before any anime came out. I thought it would have been pretty good.
I think if they had, I can't say that they were trying to be like the anime because it was obviously very different. I feel like if they had just, they didn't start with the origin at all. They just start with like L, and he's looking for the killings. And, and like about 10 minutes in, we see Light writing stuff into the notebook. I think that would have made it. We just had like the discovery of the notebook told like through like a quick flashback or something like that. That would have made the entire movie better paced because telling it from start to finish, it just forced him to cram way too much stuff in.
Yeah, I don't know if they had to spend so much time setting it up. I think it gets like 15 minutes before he uses it in the whole movie. It takes a while. He gets like beat up by some bullies first. Gets detention.
The gayest line of all time. If you hit me, you're older, so that would be child abuse. Like, man, you aren't gay, buddy.
Dude, you deserve to be hit for that. I love that scene. That was great. And then the girl just like lies about it. Like, oh, you ran into a pole. Like, yeah, that guy wasn't just bullying him. Not a rat.
And she tried to stop him from stopping the guy. The Mia Sutton, because she gets bullied by like some giant retard in the school. And when Light tries to stop it, she's like, just fuck off. What the hell she tell him? She's told to go away. You know, she's crazy enough. She was probably getting turned on by it. Like every psychopathic freaking girl in America.
He smokes during cheerleading practice. Like, where's your coach?
She's the kind of girl who like writes love letters to serial killers.
Yeah, exactly. She's like the exact wrong person to show a death note to. But she goes home and like obsesses about it all day. Like she already has a list of names in a different book, and she just needs to like photocopy.
She just copying it into it, and like on the back page has like a proposal to Timothy McVeigh or something.
Like, yeah, Ted Bundy's dead, so gotta move on to the next guy.
Kind of went to the new hotness.
Yeah, Charles Manson's still out there. Maybe he'll leave his wife.
No, he already left his wife. You didn't hear about this?
No, I don't follow Charles Manson.
Oh. This one, okay. This is a little aside. I'll leave it in, but it's too funny to not tell because you know he had well, they weren't married yet. Star, which is like this 20-something young Manson fangirl, and they were close for a couple years. She shaved her head for him because that's what you do when you're a Mansonite. Carve the X into your forehead. That's what you do. Later on, he leaves her because he finds out that she wants him to write her into his will that she gets his body after he dies. Okay, and that's crazy, but here's the thing. She wants it so she can open up like a come and look at Manson's dead body exhibit.
What?
It gets worse. It gets worse. He breaks up with her, but he leaves a comment. He's like, this was dumb of her anyway, because I'm never going to die.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
These people, man.
I love Manson. Oh, jeez.
What goes on in people's lives to like voluntarily become obsessed? Crazy ass women. Like, what is in the water? Is it birth control? What's doing this?
Explain this thottery.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Get to a nunnery right now. There's got to be two kinds of nunneries. There's got to be ones that are legit for the super devout, and the second are just like a penal colony for insane thoughts.
Yeah. Well, the whole penal colony thing is a great idea for everybody.
No more writing letters to serial killers.
Nope, none of that. You're going to go carry rocks around, weave baskets or whatever.
Back to the movie, though, I don't think they could have pulled off the plot line in the anime where like the high schooler joins the detective squad right after high school.
Oh yeah, no way.
They couldn't pull that off in an American story, and that's even if you left in like the kid genius character angle, because that just doesn't happen in the States. I doubt it happens in Japan either, but you can make the sell easier in Japan because like, oh, it's his father or some crap like that.
Yeah,
but
Japanese tend to be pretty unorthodox compared to the West in general, anyway.
Yeah, so it's still a hard sell in Japanese culture, but it's less impossible, I guess, because and I'm not Japanese, so I don't know Japanese culture the way I know American culture. But I know that an American bureaucracy just wouldn't allow it, even if everyone involved wanted it to happen.
Yeah, there's no way.
So if you had let's hypothesize you had an entire season to tell an American Death Note story. And you didn't have to rely a lot on the anime. Obviously, you have different types of characters here. You have a
law school student.
Like he's more angsty. Like no, keep the same characters. Like he's more angsty. He's not his what drives Light Turner as opposed to Light Yagami is not ambition but angst.
Yeah, angst. His mom died.
Angst that he gets bullied.
Dad's a pussy. He's getting bullied. School's not doing its job.
So let's say you had an entire season to tell that. You'd have to have him just like on the run. Like the thing would be less of like the big like cat and mouse chess game, and like it would end up being just like a literal just cat and mouse game where he's just in the streets and he's like just relying on the help of like hero supporters. Like he's staying in their apartments, He's just
He
like,
has to be on the internet. He's posting on 4chan a lot.
yeah, he has like a Tor website. People are shutting him down.
He has a USB drive with his tails on it. So
he's constantly getting banned from Twitter.
VPNs, everything. Everybody, fake Kira Twitter accounts. Everybody's Kira on Twitter now. It's just like somebody's like, I'm gonna write your name in my death note. Everybody's terrified. Twitter.com shuts down.
He would have like a site like the Daily Storm where just keeps getting shut down. It can't stay up, but it's constantly hopping from place to place, getting roped here and there. So that would have been that's how you would tell that story. That he's like a 21st century outlaw.
Oh man, that would be a great movie. Serious.
Well, you couldn't tell in a movie. It had to be like a one season story. You got 10 episodes, 12 episodes max.
We have like have multiple death notes and Shinigami eyes though.
Yeah, you have to leave those parts in. But you wouldn't even have to do that because if it's just like 12 episodes, you just need the one. I mean, you can allude to others, but you could have like a whole like a tug of war between Light Turner and Mia Sutton over who is the owner of the Death Note.
I mean, I like the part in the series where if you give it up, you lose all memory of it.
Yeah.
Which really makes the whole plot where he gets captured really great.
That was one of the greatest parts of it. That he give it to a super competitive, ambitious businessman, because he knows a person like that is gonna get caught, and he knows that means he's gonna end up with the Death Note back in his hands.
Yeah, exactly. A really short-sighted but ambitious person.
But it worked. Yeah, and so if you're telling the story in American style, you couldn't tell that because the point of it is to never get caught. Because once you're caught, it's not like Arkham Asylum, or in Gotham City where you get caught and you get thrown out again. In America, you're caught forever.
Yeah, that's true. And as soon as the government gets that note, man, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. You're done. Everybody's done.
Everyone's freaking done at that point because the government's gonna figure out a way to replicate that.
Congratulations,
like every field
is now actually a god. Not only can you have like everybody assassinated, got your social security number, got your credit card number, got your everything.
Yeah, that would be the end of the human race because then other countries. Oh man, think of that. That's season 2. Season 2, because season 1 ends with Light Turner getting caught finally and the government getting the Death Note, and then season 2,
CIA trying to get the Death Note back.
Yeah. Season 2 is like, all the government agencies battling over who gets control of it. People getting sheets of it. Everyone's knocking each other off like crazy. Light is just in prison. And he's just like, I need to have it back in my hands. He's trying to get it back in his hands. But then by the end of season 2, suddenly other, the technology to replicate it gets developed and gets leaked. And now other countries have Death Notes. And it's like an arms race.
It becomes culturally acceptable to wear masks everywhere.
Yeah, it's an arms race. It will be nuts.
Not really including the Shinigami in there. They can always take the note back.
And everyone wants to make sure that North Korea doesn't get one. North Korea's just going to slaughter everyone who isn't a North Korean.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Season 4 when North Korea actually does get it.
Fund this idea.
Man. North Korea, Kim Jong-un with a Death Note.
Oh, you don't want the social justice crowd to get one either. Oh. Forget getting doxxed. Forget getting fired. You're just going to get murdered. Just getting murked all the time. Antifa.
Communism now. No gulags. Capital punishment. I mean, I always wonder, is it possible to write yourself in the Death Note to extend your lifespan? The guy's at 99 in a duel against worst enemy. Right above him. Leave space for worst enemy. Dies in duel with me. Dies 5 minutes before me.
Dies at 120 years old after living a full life and saving an orphanage. Or something like that. He died like an old hero's death, and you make sure that's written in it. Yeah, that's cool.
Dies heroically under epic circumstances. Accomplishing something great. Wow. Thanks, Death Note.
What would season 3 be like? Would it be like post-apocalyptic Death Notes? Like after everyone has slaughtered everybody else,
everybody just like all the Death Notes get blown up except like one.
Yeah, it's just like a myth of the Death Note, and like you see like an old Light Turner
getting out. like a priest now.
But at night he has like a notebook. It's not a death notebook. He just does it just to feel better about himself. Remember his glory days. Just writes the names.
Kira? Yeah, that was me. Shut up.
Shut up, old man. How many times are you gonna teach you this lesson, old man?
People stop naming their kids. It's like, what's your kid's name? I don't know. I want him dead. I want him to live. It's not gonna happen.
That's a great. That's a little cultural things that pop up. You know, there's a book by Chuck Palahniuk called Lullaby. Have you read that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it's actually pretty good. It's this guy finds this out of print book of nursery rhymes from around the world, and one is like this old African song, and he finds it's listed as a calling song. He doesn't know what that word means, so he sings it to somebody. Was it a child? I can't remember who it was. This is years ago I read this, and they die. And he realizes that this is like actually like a really old magical spell, like an actual like D&D kind of magical spell. You sing to somebody and they're gonna die.
Oh shit!
And also like you sing once, like you memorize it like instantly. And so it's just a great description. He says that the poem takes space in your mind like memories of a city, like just this big chunk of like it just sits in your brain. You just can't help but think it. And he finds himself just kind of like just saying it casually. He just wishing people dying all over the place. And so him like three other people who know about the song, like they're traveling across the country, just burning every copy of that nursery rhyme book, so no one will have it, and the song can just die with them.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's this great part in it where they kind of extrapolating, well, like what happens if we don't do this? And they're talking about like people would become hermits all around the world. Society will collapse, and you'd have to have strict controls on things that everybody says all the time. And people would backwards develop the song and find ways to write other songs. And you end up with like basically just everyone just throwing magic spells at each other, and that would be a disaster. So that's how they decide to not. And that's why I think that the kind of like crazy premises like that, watch them get extrapolated and kind of pulled out of the story they're set in. That's always a fun experiment to play. Yeah.
Well, for example, Night of the Living Dead, Walking Dead, any of those.
Yeah.
Consider like that's a totally survivable situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like once people die, all you have to do is change like the burial patterns. You just crush the head before anybody dies.
But
future civilizations will just continue doing this until they forget what happens when you don't.
What upsets me a lot about Walking Dead is like because it's the people who write are a bunch of like shit-lib atheists. They have no appreciation for like the effect that kind of thing would have on man's beliefs, man's metaphysics. Like, what do you think about human nature after like it's now a fact that you die and you turn into a creature that just doesn't rot away, but it remains dead and hungry? Like, what does that do to people's psyche? Like, think of what evolution did to people's psyches. People like, there's a lot of pride in it.
I think it would make people more religious, but on the show, it really doesn't seem that way. I don't know. I watched like 5 seasons of it. I don't know.
I watch every single one of those stupid ass show. I don't even know why I still watch it.
I mean, I used to, but then like I just stopped caring. Last thing I saw was like, they already got to Alexandria, and that was it. Like
they're on the Negan storyline now, which is like this big like warlord guy. Not like the governor who's like bizarre and irrational and crazy. Like he's actually really competent, and anyway, it's a pretty good storyline at that point because it's like they're dealing with like a real enemy that isn't just like a nutbag. They're dealing with like civilization that is now forming.
On the show now?
Yeah. Well, at this point on the show, it's going to come back in probably like in October. They always come back in October. They're now at war with Negan's tribe. Their band of tribes is at war with Negan's band of tribes. So you're having like the first zombie war.
Yeah, that's the stuff I always liked about it. That's why I liked season 3 and 4 a lot.
Yeah.
The war with the governor. It's like these are two extremely like reactionary governments against each other. They're great. One's literally a prison colony, and it's like people trying to break into a prison. Tells you a lot about the world.
Yeah. So I mean, like, so as far as the death number, I guess we started talking about this movie. We kind of did a little thought experiment about what you could do with the the pieces of the story. And man, I guess it just didn't like the movie because not only to me was it flawed on the technical level, but it was just flawed on like a bravery level. Like if you're gonna tell a different story, then really tell a different story.
Yeah, unfortunately, American film developers are very film producers are basically a bunch of cowards.
You know, it's something to do with the anime, the adaptations they do about anime, because they did the same with Ghost in the Shell. Like that is such a that's such a dense and interesting universe. You know, the Ghost in the Shell universe, and they just completely hammed that up in the Ghost in the Shell movie. Did you watch that one?
No, I wanted to, but I hear it was terrible, so I didn't.
It's just, oh man, like they just really they just botched that one up. Like they can't not
everything dumb now. It's just everything is dumb now. That's it.
They can't not Americanize the crap out of everything. Like everything just becomes Americanized.
It's been like the pattern for the last, I don't know, like 30 years now. But the movies are just getting stupid. They can have great source material and they'll still make it really, really stupid because they think the person watching is really, really stupid. And that's really it. I mean, I get this movie was basically made for teenagers, and that's the thing. That really like makes sense to me.
Just the ADD millennial who just needs like everything turned to him like really fast, instant.
Yeah, but on those terms, it's actually very good. That's and I mean, also you mentioned like movies having quick cuts, don't necessarily have a complex story, but like Pain and Gain, dude.
Oh, I love Pain and Gain.
Well, that's a very complicated story. Twists and turns, it's all jump cuts.
Oh man, yeah, but that was told competently. Like I didn't feel that movie. I watched the movie. I didn't feel it was rushed at all. Like it was like crazy stuff was happening fast, but
that movie was like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, that's another thing. They had enough time to flesh some of this stuff out. Just the weirdness of it, just barbecuing hands in front of the warehouse.
Oh my god, that's a great movie. Watch that again.
Oh, it's such a great movie. That's Michael Bay's like that's his masterpiece. Oh man. Well,
good talk.
Well, let's do a little closing thought here. Well, I guess we couldn't convince each other. We did kind of come to a middle ground. So, dear listener, if you still want to watch this movie and kind of just let your mind play with the movie afterwards, let's think about sometimes bad movies is that they'll still be good food for thought, even if the movies themselves suck, or if they don't suck, they're still worth watching sometimes. All right. Hope you all enjoyed this. Rome is burning out.
Runs up, sucker, honey, young and good fucker. Hey, honey, you sucker, honey, young and good fucker. Hey, honey, you sucker, honey, young and good fucker. Hey, honey, you sucker, honey, young and good fucker. Hey,